Hello and welcome. You're with News 9 Live. In Indian politics, there is something called courtesies. No wonder that we are called a vibrant democracy. You could belong to opposition parties and really have a slugfest in parliament. When it comes to courtesies, well, you put everything aside and do what is really the needful. This story is exactly about that, or rather, the lack of it. Now, on Saturday, when the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, landed in Hyderabad, the Chief Minister of Telangana and BRS supremo, K Chandrashekar Rao, popularly known as KCR, chose not to receive him. Not only did KCR skip the Prime Minister's program, he also did not bother to receive Modi when the PM arrived at the Begumpet airport. This has been the fifth time since KCR has deliberately chosen, some say, not to be seen with the Prime Minister on his visits to the poll-bound state. The Prime Minister was in Telangana last week to flag off the Secunderabad-Tirupati Vande Bharat Express and launch other developmental works worth over 11,000 crores for the state. Now, during his speech, Modi clearly expressed just how pained he was at what he called the non-cooperation of state governments when it comes to centre's projects. Listen in.
मुझे एक बात के लिए बहुत पीड़ा है, बहुत दुख होता है, दर्द होता है। केंद्र के ज्यादातर प्रोजेक्ट्स में राज्य सरकार से सहयोग न मिलने के कारण हर प्रोजेक्ट में देरी हो रही है, विलंब हो रहा है। इससे नुकसान तेलंगाना के लोगों का, आप लोगों का हो रहा है। मेरा राज्य सरकार से आग्रह है कि वो विकास से जुड़े कार्यों में कोई बाधा न आने दे, विकास के कार्यों में तेजी लाएं। भाइयों और बहनों, आज के नए भारत में देशवासियों की आशाएं, आकांक्षाएं, उनके सपने पूरे करना हमारी सरकार की प्राथमिकता है। हम दिन रात मेहनत करके इसी कोशिश में जुटे हैं, लेकिन कुछ मुट्ठी भर लोग विकास के इन कार्यों से बहुत बौखलाए हुए हैं। ऐसे लोग परिवारवाद, भाई भतीजावाद और भ्रष्टाचार को पोषित करते रहे। उन्हें ईमानदारी से काम करने वालों से परेशानी हो रही है। ऐसे लोगों को देश के हित से, समाज के भले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है। ये लोग सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने कुनबे को फलता फूलता देखना पसंद करते हैं। हर प्रोजेक्ट में, हर इन्वेस्टमेंट में ये लोग अपने परिवार का स्वार्थ देखते हैं। तेलंगाना को ऐसे लोगों से बहुत सतर्क रहना जरूरी है। भाइयों और बहनों, भ्रष्टाचार और परिवारवाद एक दूसरे से अलग नहीं है। जहां परिवारवाद और भाई भतीजावाद होता है, वहीं से हर प्रकार का करप्शन फलना फूलना शुरू हो जाता है। परिवारवाद, वंशवाद का मूल मंत्र ही सब चीजों को कंट्रोल करना होता है। परिवारवादी हर व्यवस्था पर अपना कंट्रोल रखना चाहते हैं। उन्हें ये बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं आता कि कोई उनके कंट्रोल को चैलेंज करे.
After all guns blazing, Modi made Modi's next pit stop to Chennai. Well, there, Chief Minister and Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam President MK Stalin accorded him a warm welcome. The two were seen walking together through the new integrated terminal at the Chennai International Airport. Later, both of them were seen flagging off the Chennai-Coimbatore Vande Bharat Express train. And here's what the Prime Minister expressed about Tamil Nadu.
It is always great to come to Tamil Nadu. It is the home of history and heritage. It is the land of language and literature. It is also a center of patriotism and national consciousness. Many of our leading freedom fighters were from Tamil Nadu.
You will understand what is going on.
Now, obviously, comparisons are odious, but in politics, there are comparisons made. So the point is, you saw both the speeches, right? The one he made in Hyderabad and the one he made in Chennai. Vast difference. Now, both Stalin and KCR are politically and ideologically opposed to the BJP. That's the similarity. And the greatest similarity? Particularly towards Narendra Modi. Yet, MK Stalin had what can only be described as courtesies to receive the Prime Minister, which is of course as per protocol. So why is it that KCR repeatedly skips Prime Minister's events or visits, especially when those events concern the development of his own state? Logical question. Why should the people of Telangana pay the price of KCR's opposition to the Prime Minister? Let's expand this discussion. Joining me on the show is, of course, my colleague Krishna Kumar, who's with me in the studio. Also joining me is PVS Murali, who's a political analyst, and also Nagesh Kumar, who is a senior journalist. A very warm welcome to both the guests. But first up, Krishna, to you.
Right.
You know, the thing is that, like I said, there is something called protocol. More important, protocol is a very officious word, as it were. But political courtesies. He is the Prime Minister of this country. And you know, Krishna, this is the 5th time that KCR has done the miss, as it were. Sometimes he goes to Bengaluru, sometimes he sends some junior minister. You may not like him, but then do you think this is even proper in a vibrant democracy like ours to keep skipping these events?
From what I understand here is that, look, they've been at loggerheads quite obviously, both Telangana and the central government, and so have Tamil Nadu. And that's the reason why you're asking the question. If somebody who's at loggerheads as you are is able to extend the courtesy, then why not you? The only way I can decode this, I can understand here is this. KCR is known to have prime ministerial ambitions at this stage. And, at some stage, he would want people to start taking that seriously. And this, in a sense, is positioning him as somebody who is a leader who, considering, he considers himself as equal in stature to PM Modi. So, in that sense, he doesn't want to share a stage and at this stage as a chief minister because he seems to be having prime ministerial ambitions. That's probably one reason why he doesn't want to share the stage, so to speak. But then again, you can say MK Stalin also, with his recent social justice movement, bringing 20-odd opposition parties together, has also expressed, so to speak, his prime ministerial ambitions as well. So in that sense, the question comes back to KCR as to how come, despite everything being similar between you and MK Stalin, you have chosen to miss the prime minister's events for 5 times. Or bear in mind, and the question is being asked because this time around, you have the Prime Minister, opening so many development projects and also pinpointing the fact that it's the lack of cooperation from Telangana state government that's making sure the welfare measures don't reach the people of Telangana. And that's where the concern is. How much of this turf war between KCR and PM Modi is going to result in people of Telangana losing out, Sudha?
Very interesting point you make, Krishna. And let me take this to both PVS Murali and also to Nagesh Kumar. PVS Murali, I want to ask you this. What Krishna Kumar said, that maybe KCR sees himself as the future Prime Minister and therefore does not want to share the stage with him. But I also look at it from slightly different prism. KCR has made frontal attacks, and in Hindi, let me tell you, that's the difference here. Stalin has spoken, but in Tamil. But here KCR has even called him a Nalayak Sarkar, which means that inefficient, Do you think that this war of words is escalated to such an extent that he just feels that he will not share the stage with Prime Minister Modi?
Yeah, let's go back to the statement that you made that, what happened in Tamil Nadu is different from what happened in Hyderabad, which is true because the point there is Hyderabad, Telangana is poised for the elections this year. So obviously the environment would be a little heated up, and which is not in the case of Tamil Nadu. And of course, the base in Telangana for BJP is much, much stronger than what it is in Tamil Nadu, which means that he's being pally with it. And if we really look at it, 4 years back, the same language was spoken by the BJP and the Modi when everything was honky dory with the KCR team. So having said that, in the current scenario, answering your question, I think besides the prime minister ambition, the prime ministerial ambition of KCR, I think there are several aspects of it. Because the kind of, as you rightly said, the kind of a language that is being used by KCR, and in spite of instigating so much over the period of time, Modi, whenever he came to Hyderabad, he was never addressing in singular terms, or he was never addressing in a very using any of the adjectives kind of language. But then this time he have chosen to do that. I mean, let's look at it strategically. They have put, as per the protocol, they have put a chair for KCR, which says that it's a development project. Earlier on his visits, some of them, they said, it's because of the private visits, he was not there. But this was a developmental, purely a developmental, and he was still not there. So as a protocol request, he was he was offered a chair, but he didn't come. That's a different issue. That was an opportunity for Modi for the first time in the last several years, that he was talking a little vociferously, albeit in a camouflaged language.
Yeah, but even last time, I'm sorry to intrude in this fashion, Mr. Murali, but even last time, I mean, one of the in the past visits, he did speak about Parivarvad, about dynasty and about how there is corruption, and he said that it's synonymous with families which actually rule the state. Let me come back to you and let me get in Nagesh Kumar here. Nagesh Kumar, now Krishna, my colleague, made this point that KCR has prime ministerial ambition. Mr. Murali also said that it could be one of the reasons. Now look at it. KCR is all guns blazing, right? But Stalin has never minced his words as well. He has stood on the dais, let me tell you, and criticized the central dispensation. And the Prime Minister goes there even when the war between Governor R. and Ravi and, Stalin has really reached the levels which it never saw before. Stalin also speaks in that fashion. So you think that, the status of Stalin, somehow I feel, is not reduced just because he's courteous, because that is following the protocol and one of the traditions of Indian democracy. Would you agree?
Yes, of course. When I'll draw a parallel with our own Chief Minister N.T. Ramarao and why Stalin. When N.T. Ramarao was the Chief Minister, the Congress did its best to harass him. In fact, Indira Gandhi went to the extent of toppling him and replacing him with Narendra Bhaskar Rao. And then again, when Rajiv Gandhi succeeded her, and once they went to a village where Dalits were massacred, then there was a union minister, Mr. Shiv Shankar. So what the Dalit victims were telling Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, Mr. Shiv Shankar and others were misinterpreting because they were speaking in Telugu, which Rajiv Gandhi obviously could not understand.
Okay.
So then what happened? N.T. Ramarao protested, and then they had to call a press correspondent who knew both these languages and to serve as an interpreter.
Okay.
That was the extent to which the bitterness went. But N.T. Ramarao never went to the extent of boycotting Rajiv Gandhi, though he was the chairman of the National Front later, and he was instrumental in making 100 MPs resign from the Lok Sabha. Now, coming to the present chief minister,
Right.
it is so obvious that he has got prime ministerial ambitions. One thing many of the chief ministers in the country, I dare say, are unable to swallow is the fact that one among them, that is one among the chief ministers, has become the prime minister and is sort of dictating terms to them. And now he having floated the Bharat Rashtra Samiti, KCR, he wants to project it as a alternative.
Right.
And for that purpose, he is floating a number of schemes. Let me also tell you, just barely 3 years ago, KCR had supported several bills of the NDA government in Parliament.
True.
But then what has changed? The things that have changed is KCR now feels that his Karma Bhumi is no longer Telangana. His Karma Bhumi is now a bigger area comprising the entire country.